podcast world, and welcome to another edition of Tig's Bits, your weekly dose of insanity fueled from the brain of me, Tiggs. On this week's show, I have our very first repeat guest, Mr. Chad Blasi. He and I are back continuing our shenanigans and talking about the Troy Trojans versus the LSU Tigers trilogy, a tale of 3 games. I've titled this week's show Surviving Troy for several reasons. LSU's escapes from the jaws of defeat a couple of times, an epic win for the Troy Trojans at LSU, and a wild story of Tiggs in Troy in between games 2 and 3 of the trilogy. Plus, we even discuss Survivor. Never a dull moment when Chad and I visit, so I hope you enjoy. But before we jump into this week's show, if you've not checked out the Facebook page, please do. It's Tig's Bits, of course, like the name of the show. So just head over there, give it a like, share it, and let people know what you think about it. Also, the show's now available on all streaming services like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Google Podcasts, more. So if you're enjoying this, please share it with your friends. They can just search it by searching Tig's Bits. And last, please subscribe to the show by pressing the little plus button. Give it a rating, leave a review. It helps us to be able to reach more people. And like I've said, I'm having fun doing these. So please share it if you don't mind. So finally, let's just jump into this week's show, Surviving Troy. We have a very, very special guest back on Tig's Bits. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're going to remember him. There is no doubt the one, the only, Mr. Chad Blasi!
What is happening, Tiggs? Good
What's
to be
up?
here, brother, man. Thanks for having me back. I guess I made the cut to the second round. I feel like I'm on Survivor or something here. So this is good stuff, man.
Well,
Having fun.
Yeah, I don't even think you had to go to Exile Island. You know, I think we already have a story right off the top of the show. That's a good way to open this deal, Chad. You know, I love Survivor. I started watching that show right as soon as the first season. Loved it, man. I can't think of Richard Hatch. I think that's who won the very first season. I don't know. I mean,
No, it was Richard. Yeah.
He'd get naked and stuff. Kind of an oddball. I think he had some tax evasion issues or something.
Yeah,
and,
he was. He was very strategic. You know, he kind of set a blueprint up there of how to play
he really.
that show.
Oh, dude, no, he's a genius. It was incredible. I was for him, and I know he came back on a couple of seasons, but I don't remember how he fared. I think he got voted off very early once, and then I think he came back maybe one more time and maybe made it a little bit further.
Yeah,
Probably won it. But anyhow, where I was getting with that is I remember that you had a friend one time that was on Survivor, didn't you?
Bobby John. Yep. Oh, Bob, man. Oh, Bobby. Yeah, he was on there twice. So he was on there the first time. And he did really well until there was a fire building contest. And so I'll tell you what's funny about that. So in the fire building contest, it was him and this other girl. I remember she was like a pharmaceutical rep or something. And they had to build a fire, and there was like a rope over the fire. And they had to build this fire and then make it burn that rope in half. And whoever could do that first won the competition. So the show was still on television. So they're playing it out. And I actually went and hung out with Bob at his cabin. There was a bunch of us. And that night, of course, he didn't say anything about if he, made it to the end and won or if he got voted off. But he has a really big fireplace in there. And it's looking back on this, because this is right after he had just gotten home. Dude, he is throwing logs into this fire. I mean, at a high pace. I mean, I remember I walked up to him one time, the logs were like going up the chimney, and I was like, Bob, that's a hell of a fire you got going there, man. He said, you can't ever have too big of a fire.
That's what he said.
That's exactly what he said. But yeah, he was on there once, and then on there again on the All-Star too. But yeah, he had a lot of fun with it.
Oh no, I remember, because he made it to the end, and
man,
and got eliminated with the fire burning challenge. It really
he
sucks.
claims his dude. I've never known Bob to lie. So
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the. I mean, I've only seen him on TV, but he doesn't seem to be the kind of guy who would be a liar.
oh, he's so authentic, man. And he claims that they had started building the fire, and his fire was going up and was 100% about to burn this rope in half, and they were like, cut. And they claimed they had some sort of an issue with sound or something, and they made them start that whole thing over again. And that's the reason he lost. I don't know. That's what he says. And so I tend to believe it.
Yeah.
That'd be rough.
I mean, look, I understand. That's what TV, they don't mess around. I mean, they'll just make you do it again. Probably in the back of their heads, like, this boy from Alabama, I mean, he isn't gonna have any problems doing this again anyhow. You know, I mean, whatever.
Yep.
We're not gonna get, this is the big moment in the show. We we literally have to capture this. I get it.
Yep. No, it is what it is. He did well with it.
I mean, it cost him $1 million, Chad.
That's the only thing. There was $1 million after that fire.
I mean, pretty big deal. So
I can understand why he's pretty pissed about that fire and built that big ass fire.
I don't know. He's probably has an issue now. Hopefully, he's going to therapy to work that out. Otherwise, he's probably a pyromaniac at this point.
We don't have to keep going about this, but so we were at a music festival, and so Bob was there, and dude, a log caught on fire. Like we were up on like a little what they call like the mezzanine. It was just a hill basically, but they called it a little mezzanine. It's just basically in this guy's backyard. It was a pretty cool music festival, probably 1,500 people there, and we were camped out up there. We were building a fire, and dude, Bob kept throwing in logs into the fire. And this is post Survivor, and and when he threw one in, it hit another one. And these logs were pretty big. They were at least like 12, 14 inches round, a foot long. One of the logs takes off rolling, going down the hill. So there's a log like in flames just rolling through people,
Through people.
Dude, I'll never forget it to this day. Just watching that log go through there, and Bob standing there like, oh shit, So yeah, there's a little bit of a fire issue he's got there now.
It really seems to just be that guy's the thorn in his side, man. I mean, wow. Well, I mean, people have problems with things. So some people have issues with water. Well, so there's that. And then some people, I guess, have issues with fires. But man, I'll tell you, I hope that isn't the way he goes out. That'd be rough, No,
he's doing well now. He's married. Everything's settled down. I think he's over his fire issue.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, and I'm sure he's done just fine for himself post Survivor. Well, that's good. Is he still live in Alabama?
Yeah, I think he lives. Man, they did a little gathering at the end of January. And I was going to go up there and hang out with him. I hadn't seen him in probably 2 or 3 years, but yeah, he's up. I think he's in like the Wetumpka, Montgomery area. But yeah, he's doing good, man. He's doing good. Well, I wanted to revisit our Troy saga because
oh yeah, absolutely.
There's multiple parts to that. I mean, it's a 3-part series, and then in part 2 and 3, you and I were together, and then in between there, you got to visit Troy. So. Yeah, so one of the things, Brantley, that we got to share in was 2/3 of the Troy LSU saga. So Troy played LSU in 2004, played them again in 2008, and then got to play them again in 2018. So if we take that back in time, I mean, you and I were together 2 and 3. Like the first round, I actually visited LSU. That was unbelievable experience. I mean, Troy guy, we had just gone to Division 1A football in 2001. We had beat Mississippi State. That's and we beat Oklahoma State. We'd had a couple
Right.
of marquee wins. We still hadn't beat LSU though. You know what I mean? This is LSU. And so I didn't go there saying, hey, we're fixing to beat LSU. We're going there. This is going to be
But
fun.
you knew you had a team that was salty.
Oh, that's right. I mean,
they were good. They could hang. They may not close it out, but they were going to give LSU some fits.
Oh, 100%. We had Larry the Legend Blakeney there at the time. His motto was anytime, anywhere, any place, so it was just, a ballsy bunch of group of folks. But so I got to visit LSU in 2004. We go there, dude, with 2 minutes left in the ball game. We're winning that game. I believe it was 20-17. And going down to the end, I remember our corner slipped. And you guys threw like a 30-yard touchdown pass to take the lead. And it went in 24-20. Great game, though. The whole game, it was intense.
Yeah.
That's when we had DeMarcus Ware on one end. We had Osi Manure on the other. We had these unbelievable bookends at the time. People didn't realize what we had there. And
stars at the next level.
Absolutely. They were highly disruptive. So that was fun. Like even losing, I wasn't happy to lose, but I was like, man, we played a hell of a football game, and so let's bounce forward to 2008. You had moved into good old Hammock Bay, and
well, we kind of on the previous podcast that you and I had.
We laid out. You have to go back and listen to that to hear some of the Hammock Bay intro.
Yeah, definitely a few annex were described in there, but yeah. Yeah, that was an amazing time period. So yeah, I digress.
No, it was that was a lot of fun. That whole time period was, but Troy's playing LSU again. You decided not to go. I remember you were like, I'm going to stay here. I know you went most of the home games, but we're going to hang out.
I mean, I don't think I'd missed at that point, even living in Florida. I don't think I'd missed more than 5 home games since 1986 or 86.
Wow.
No more than 5.
That's strong.
Oh yeah. And I don't think I'd missed any since I lived in Florida. Like it was it was like, I ain't going to let this 5-hour drive get in my way. Not at all. They play in McNeese. I'm going.
We're in.
They're going to play Western Kentucky. I'm rolling, baby. I'm going to go see my Tigers play. Then finally it's like, I think I'll skip some of those games. At 5, I really enjoy all of my friends and my neighbors, and generally go to the beach instead of going to Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
I think I'll stick around with my buddies. And you know what? I just got that really badass, expensive direct TV package that has the full NFL, like every single channel that is available in the world.
Yeah.
And I learned that I could get Tiger Vision that weekend, which they don't have anymore. They do pay-per-view. I haven't seen a pay-per-view in a while, actually. I don't think they do it because every single game is now broadcast on the
ESPN Plus has changed everything, or ESPN overall.
It goes that route. But back in the day, they had Tiger Vision, and that was even in the 90s, probably even in the 80s. I mean, just old closed circuit television, like this is a dedicated Tiger Vision. But we could get it on direct TV. I was like, hey, boys, get that Troy game.
Oh, you hosted a fine party that night.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
We had a good time, and I'll never forget, watching that game. You didn't expect, nobody expected it. Here we were going into the third quarter. I mean, Troy is up 31-3. I mean, just mind blowing. And I
can't even begin to describe my mental state at that point in time. Though I think I held it in as well, probably better than expected, I would say. I think fairly well, but better than expected better than I expected, frankly, at that point. But
you did. You had done a great job, and I was, as a visiting fan at your house, I was holding it together too. And don't get me wrong. I think I could have gone outside and climbed up a pine tree barefooted at that point. There's a lot of adrenaline in there.
I think I looked at you at one time and I was like, it's okay, man. You should enjoy it.
You did. I remember standing kind of behind the bar in your kitchen, just kind of like frozen, like a statue a little bit.
I think that's when Cade overheard me, and he gave me this kind of look. And he went, "What are you talking about, Tiggs? I'm not giving up. Are you just gonna give up on him?" And I'm like, "No, man. I'm just saying this. I mean, he should enjoy it up. They're up 4 touchdowns, Cade." It's in the 4th quarter. It ain't looking good. I'm not saying it's over. It ain't over. It ain't over. And he started kind of getting hot, I think, at that point a little bit. And he's like, "Whoa, buddy." And of course, you had some of your other friends there. Who all was there that night?
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to remember who was all there.
I'm pretty sure Hal was there.
Hal was there, yeah. I'm pretty sure Bo was sliding around in there somewhere.
Yeah, he was there at some point, without a doubt. Russ.
If there was a party, I mean, it could have been like a baby shower, and there was going to be a beer involved or something.
Sure he was. He was going to absolutely crack a couple of beers, pour them over his head, and walk in and give a gift. And make somebody laugh and then leave. That's what he's going to do.
100%. But, hey, that night, and to this day, if I'm not mistaken, that is still the greatest comeback in LSU history. Is y'all proceeded to, I mean, everything that could go wrong for us went wrong. Everything that could go right for you guys went right. I mean, that's how you win a football game when you're down 31-3 going into the 4th quarter.
It really takes a village at that point, doesn't it? And a little bit of luck.
I mean, we were punting the ball, hitting our own guys in the head. I mean, it was nuts, man. It was wild.
Yeah, the aura of Death Valley just absolutely took over, and kind of in a somber. There wasn't nobody left in the damn stands. No. Everybody was gone, but the big house said, Well,
they did. They took control of that.
We're gonna put out some vibes tonight, and make things get a little weird.
That they did. And remember Neil Brown he was young, and he'd just taken over as the offensive coordinator that year, and I know that still had to bother him because, he got pretty conservative in his play calling and, all the things that anybody else would do.
You're up 28 points. What are you going to keep throwing it?
Throw the ball, sling it downfield.
Hey, man, put it in the air. Put it in the air. They can't stop us. Well, that's what Joe Burrow and company did. I mean,
exactly what they did.
They didn't stop. Neither did Steve Spurrier in Florida.
No,
really, the great teams don't.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And so, I know he's a hell of a coach, man. He's at West Virginia now, and hadn't quite got it going yet. But dude, I think he's just a quarterback away, and I think they're close to that. So I still think he's going to end up being a really great coach. He's a great dude. He's a hell of an offensive mind. But, that night, that was not a good night for him on that side of the ball because it became stagnant after that. But anyway, I remember after that game, of course, I'd held my emotions in. And then Cade, I remember Cade, I just met Cade too. And he was coming at me, just talking all kinds of crap. And I kind of lost it. I was about ready to fight Cade that night, which would probably been a mistake. But
yeah, I think it probably would have been.
But no, I like Cade. So that brings us. So we're through 2. So now we had two very, very interesting, matchups here with LSU. They aren't supposed to go that way,
No.
And so in between that, you had an opportunity to come up. I took you to a Troy game. That's back when we used to have the box suite up there. And
man.
We were kind of the we were all younger. And
right.
One of the guys that was in is a big Bacardi rep. So obviously we had a very finely stocked bar in there, and we had a disco ball in there.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. No, I don't know if you had lights or not, but you did have a disco ball that was lit up, but it was a dark room with a beanbag.
Yes.
I mean,
we definitely had a
my trip up there. I mean, just fast forwarding, when we left that suite, the beanbag was scattered everywhere in that suite.
That was
It,
that game. I remember it getting scattered. That was that game,
it
wasn't
was that game. Somebody busted the beanbag. It was not me. I do not know who did it, but somebody busted the beanbag. I think it was Bo.
it? Shocker. Shocker of the year.
I know, right?
Oh man, I mean, that was a fun trip. I mean, it was exciting to say the least. Well, so and Tiggs, you can jump in on this, but I mean, so obviously we get to shore, we're having a big time in the box. It was like my tradition because we had that box for like 2000 and get my years straight, like '04 to 2010. We had 6 years, so we had a nice run in there until I moved to Tampa in 2011. It's the only reason I didn't make a game, but we go down on kickoff. I'm going to be on the sidelines. We'd go down on the sidelines and stand there, and I was going to watch that first drive from the sidelines. So I took Tiggs down there. We're on the sidelines, and I think we hung out a little longer in the first drive. We hung out for probably at least the first quarter, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did. I mean, but just to be able to, I've never gone out on the field beyond a high school game, to go out on a college field. And we damn near ran out of that little blow up tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Well, we did run behind them. 100%. If you remember, yes, I think we may have ran out to the 10 or 15 yard line and then turned back to the sidelines.
We just cut her off. I'll get in there, jump around with them. Like, what is this ass clown doing? Yes.
That's the difference. I wish you could do that at LSU. That would be nuts, but that would never ever happen. Yeah, but we absolutely did. We got up to that club, started enjoying it, and then went down, ran out with the team.
100%. I mean, you got really engaged though. Like you took it to. At that point, I'd done this multiple times, and then I watched the first drive or so, and then I'd slip back up to the box. But you got really engaged. I remember at one point, which I'm standing on the sidelines because I think we stayed out there past the first drive, and now our defense had been on the field, come off the field. We were playing great. I think we may have even scored the first drive, if I remember correctly. Defense played well. Defense is over there meeting, and I look up, and Brantley is joined the defensive meeting over there. And that's when Bear Woods, who was just a phenomenal linebacker,
man,
long red dreadlocks,
painted his face.
All he did was just tackle everybody who had the ball.
He was
that's all he did. He was an absolute animal. Yeah, he knew exactly where to go. And I mean, he ended up setting records. He had 126 tackles in the CFL in one season, like 2016. But, so back to the Bear, dude, you and Bear, I mean, if I remember correctly, y'all kind of connected or something.
We did.
Yeah, y'all were like,
I hit him on his pads. I was hitting him on his pads. He hit me on no pads. It was awesome. I mean, he just absolutely got in it. I pushed him. I think he pushed me. I was ready to go play. I don't think
you were.
Yeah, I mean, I feel at that moment I've never played organized football in my life. Not in a team setting. I played backyard football. We used to have a very intense. It would be 7-on-7. I mean, at one time it was 11-on-11 full tackle, no pads, nothing. We used to do that in between my grandparents' yard and my mom and dad's yard. I would paint the field and all this. This game got pretty serious up in Sabine Parish. Got pretty serious for a little while. Like the coaches didn't want us doing it. People started getting hurt. There'd be fights in the woods over here. Just kind of, then you weren't even thinking about lawsuits and stuff like that if somebody got hurt. And, it was just all fun and games until somebody decided to wear metal cleats.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Just another day in Louisiana. Right?
I mean, yeah. And then right there, good buddy of mine, Nick McCormick, he gets hit by the cleat, and what a gouge. Well, at least he didn't take his eye out.
That's crazy.
But anyhow, I never played any of that. But I'm telling you, in that exchange with Bear Woods, I am 100% confident that I would have gotten at least 6 tackles in that game.
Oh, I think so too.
There's no doubt.
It's funny. There's like a box right down there. So you've got, what is it, like from the 20 to the 20? And that's kind of the players. And I usually hang outside that box a little bit and respect that zone. Dude, you were like, I don't see any lines you're talking about. I remember I looked down and they were all like on the bench, the defense and the defense coordinators talking to the team, and you're right in the middle of them. I mean, but what's crazy is kind of working. Like Bears up with you, firing up, hitting you in the shoulders. Like I probably thought you were a coach. I don't know what they thought, but like they did not check up at all. It was no, hey, get this guy out of here. It was me looking, going like, oh shit, Brantley has joined the defensive team meeting.
Leisurely wandered back to you. But then at that point, I was like, hey man, since I'm just doing everything I've ever wanted to do on a football field, let's go behind the goalpost. So if they kick a field goal, let's go catch it. So we did. I mean, there's had to be somebody in the stands that night with binoculars just watching. Who are these people? I mean, we just did what we want. Like, man, no security. Like, they don't even care. Unbelievable. It was, what a fun experience, man. I mean, just a fun ride. It was freaking awesome.
Oh, dude, it was great. I mean, it was probably a little too good, so we finally go back up the box. And then of course that's just like being in a bar or something. I mean, it was straight up club. Oh, we threw down every week, and I'd always get at least 2 to 3 warnings, and I'd have to go out. I remember West, what was West's last name? I can't remember. He ran the box. He's now a judge up there, but I'd walk out. I was kind of the voice of reason. He was like, yeah. And he'd always come up to me, hey, Chad, somebody's throwing up out here in the hallway. Wes, I really do apologize about that. I'll definitely take care of it, buddy. And that night it was the beanbag. And somehow the beanbag got strode into the hall.
It left.
There's beans
it was
everywhere.
Over in the corner. I remember where the door was at and the bar. And it was very much over in the corner. And yeah, it straight up made it about 12 feet the other side of the room and then scattered all down the hallway like somebody just opened it and drug it.
Oh my God.
Probably what happened.
I remember always looking because we were second to the end, and the Alumni Suite was right next to us. So they always have a variety of alumni in there and special guests, and they would just look through, because you could see that there was a glass, partition, which was probably 12 feet long, that separated. You could actually see through before the wall started. And I remember left and right, just always people looking over there like, man, look at these guys. It was nuts.
Well, I mean, but what a bang for your buck.
Man, it was the best money I've ever spent.
Yeah, I would imagine that these days, those suites are probably 10 times what it cost back then.
Yes, it was a value because you're still trying to build it up. They had, I think, 32 suites. So, and then they had a club level. They just introduced this at one time. It's Troy, it's not LSU, Auburn, Alabama.
Right.
So
I love it. Was a nice stadium. What's the name of the stadium?
Well, so it's been a few things. It used to be Movie Gallery Stadium. And
that's right. It was Movie Gallery when we went.
But it is. Yeah, that's right. So it's Veterans Memorial Stadium. That name is stuck, So Larry Blakeney Field. Well, and so I remember as a big Troy fan, especially back then, I was like, yeah, if I could make all these millions I'm gonna make, I was like, I'm gonna come in with these naming rights, and I'm gonna name it after my grandmother, who means a lot to me, but her name was Odie. And I thought, what a better name than Welcome to the Odie. I just thought it was like, that's it. Odie Lee Rayner. No, it's just the Odie. That's all I wanted to be called, just the Odie. Hadn't played out yet, but we're not at the end yet, so you never know.
Well, a long ways to go. I mean, that's generally one of those things that you really need to be in your 70s for anyhow. So, I mean, we got a little bit of time before we get there. So no worries. No worries, man.
That is true.
I mean, you're on a podcast.
That's
I
right.
need you to look yourself in the mirror right now. Look at your little screen of you and just remember you're on a podcast. Oh, man.
I really am.
That was a fun time.
It was a hell of an experience is what it was. It was great. It was great. It stands out. I mean, it's a top 3 experience. I mean, obviously being there, watching us beat Oklahoma State at home and tearing down goalposts, and, you know, beating Marshall at home early on, like tearing down goalposts. And then there's Brantley. I mean, those are my top 3.
That's a solid top 3. I definitely put that day up in the top of funnest games I've ever had, or funnest times I've ever had at a football game, because there was zero pressure on me at this point. None. Didn't care. Yeah, none. I really didn't care who won or lost. I mean, I wanted Troy to win. You know, just I did, but at the end of the day, had they lost, it really wasn't going to affect my day at all.
You didn't have a dog in the fight. I mean, you were just there for the party.
But then I got sucked in, just sucked in like a big old tornado going through, and just sucked up. And then, I mean, the next thing you know, I'm about to go dress out. I'm ready, or coordinate or something. I'm telling you, I get 6 to 8 tackles in that game, maybe even a sack.
I think so. You know, I'm not going to argue against that. I mean, dude, you were pumped. They had you ready. I mean, you were ready to roll. And then fast forward 10 years later. I mean, Troy's heading to LSU. We're going to play LSU again, and for the 3rd time. And of course, you roll out the red carpet. We get there in town, and dude, y'all got the big box truck. I'll never forget. I pull up, and I'm like, "Where's it?" Oh, it's that big ass box truck right there that's opened up, and you got the rooftop lounge area up there, and
Cajun Tiger tailgate.
I had such a blast. I remember just hanging out, and I mean, y'all got a really good crew there.
We do. It's amazing.
Was a ton of fun, and then obviously getting to go into Tiger Stadium there, and I mean to Death Valley and hang out. It was another hell of an experience, and so it was. Y'all had just built that north end zone situation, and the Troy section I know was down just below me. But I really wanted to get that north end zone deal because you got alcohol and food and all that. So I was like, I think I'll take tickets up there. I think I was the only Troy fan up there.
Yeah.
But I really wanted that, you know.
Right.
I was like, I want to go up there and have some beer while I'm at the game. And
yeah.
So I'm watching the game, and obviously, you know, once again, we have another crazy start. Troy gets a lead again, and we're up, and my energy level, I mean, I'm positive, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's mad at me up there. I didn't call. Actually, I remember an LSU fan came up to me, and because energy was good towards the Trojans, nothing negative towards LSU. Just, you know, like, let's roll, you know. And he was like,
Coach O had just taken over. We had fired Les Miles.
It was a transition.
It was kind of a dud of a season, for lack of a better word, kind of like this year was for us, but that's okay.
But it was kind of the beginning of a hell of a run.
Oh, yes, it was.
For you. You know what I mean?
It absolutely turned the tide after that, for sure.
But I remember that guy coming up to me, and this guy walked up to me and said, "Man," and trust me, this was just y'all are playing Troy. I get the whole situation. It'd be like if Troy was playing Alabama State. You know what I mean? It was like it's like it's not a big game to get up for. It was homecoming, but I mean, I was like, man, if our fans had half the damn energy that you had, I think we'd be winning this football game right now. And I was like, and I kind of didn't know what to say to it other than like, man, I appreciate it, but, you know, I'm not trying to am I being too loud? No, dude, you keep going, dude. You know what I mean? You ain't bothering me a bit. And I was like, all right. So I kept rolling, of course I hadn't sat down. I'm moving back and forth, left and right, up and down, getting a beer, coming back. I mean, as a Troy fan, it was a great, but you know what was unbelievable? Well, is in the fourth quarter late. I mean, we're getting down to like a minute or two. Troy's winning the football game. And I go down to the section where the Troy fans are. I was like, I got to get with the Troy fans now. I was like, okay, this has been great, but I got to get down here. And you came over and joined me, which I know there were kind of two parts to that. I mean, one was I think you were hoping it would put a little whammy jinx on us by coming over there because it looked like we're about to win the game.
That's 100% what I came over there for. I was like, I've seen this happen.
You've been there. I know. I thought the same thing. It's like I was glad to see you. Like I was just glad to see you.
Well, you shot me a text and you told me you were coming down there, and I said, I'm on my way.
And I got a little nervous myself when I
saw you panicking.
I did. I was like, oh God, this brings back 2008 flashbacks. I was like, and we're standing there and, it was inevitable, or it looked like it was, but I was like, I've seen this play out before,
Yeah, there's no telling what could happen now, but it was going to take some really, really dumb plays at that point.
But when y'all threw that interception and, it was like a minute left or less than a minute, no timeouts, and we intercepted it, that was it. That's when I lost my mind and started screaming. I think I even got us on video on that. Guys, I remember I screamed so hard. Like, the only time I've ever done this, I was screaming so hard that I blacked out on my feet. I went down. I remember I went down to the ground and I popped back up, and then you were still standing there. I filmed you. I filmed myself screaming, going down, and you see me. So even in the moment, like you were there, and I appreciate the hell out of it because, it's after that, y'all go on to do great things, but
I felt y'all deserved it. I mean, you played us in two close ones. Y'all beat us that night straight up. They deserved to win that game, and so I was. It's probably been the only time I've ever been happy with a loss. Like, I'm okay with this. I was fine with it.
Well, it was as a Troy fan, it's our greatest win, but still, and from an understanding, like as you peel back the onion a little bit, like there's like nobody from Troy like hates LSU. Like it's more like you just beat. It's like I don't know, dude. It's like beating Coach K or something. You know?
Well, yeah,
like,
you just beat an elite program it's yes in a down year, but still that's a big win no matter what.
Yes,
period.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think it's the biggest in program because of the magnitude, because of who it was, and I think because of the trilogy in those three games that makes them also so epic. But I can tell you one thing, LSU ain't ever going to schedule Troy again.
I think that's it. It's like any great trilogy in boxing. I think that's it. You don't see that fourth game. I don't think you see it either.
Nope. We got 2 out of 3, and that's good. That's good.
And honestly, as a Troy fan, I don't want to play the fourth game either because I feel like, it's like the fourth game would probably be what the real game should have been the whole time. But,
yeah, one way or the other.
To me, it's a closed chapter, and it's like, it's like, here we are, and that was unbelievable. And it's as Troy fans, we never forget it. But it was such a fun run. Those 04, 08, 18, and the whole experience. And I can tell you right now, every Troy fan, they like LSU. You know what I mean? Like nobody doesn't. There's no hate. It's not like beating. I don't even mean it this way, but like beating Alabama or beating Auburn.
Well, those jackasses won't even play you.
To this day, they've never beat us because they won't play us.
Exactly.
It ain't got nothing to do with us. So yeah, I still have. That's another subject for another day. But anyway, so hell of an experience, dude. Hell of a run. You were there for two of the three of those, and then we got in between.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable, greatest game at
And
Troy.
I was at the first one. I was in the stadium. We just didn't know each other yet. So I was a part of all three of the trilogy, without a doubt, and it's a fun one. I mean, it's easily the best out of conference story that in my lifetime with LSU, without a doubt. We've not played anybody else that's pushed us like that. That's a smaller, quote unquote, smaller school or whatever. So it was, yeah, nothing can top that. I don't think we don't play any other team. They really just quit scheduling teams like Troy after that. As much, I mean, if we're going to play somebody out of conference, we're definitely going to win. Or oh boy, we have some issues if we don't. My favorite part of that last game of when Troy beat LSU was that, and you've told me the story over the years, that you're just celebrating. You blacked out, you got up, you saw me, and then you like turned your head, and then when you look back,
You were
like,
gone.
out of there. You never saw me. And there's
Gone.
like a 500 feet to the bottom of that tunnel.
Dude, it was just like a damn, like a ghost. Like I even wonder if he was actually there. It was. I turned my head one way and I'm screaming. I come up, I'm recording him. He kind of yells with me and puts his hand on my shoulder. I turn my head back, look at the field, come back to say something to him. And dude, dude, you evaporated. I mean, like, I'm still trying to figure out where you went to. Like, I don't know if you had some secret little chute you went through, because I look back and like where you would have gone, like I should have still seen you. It was like a magic trick, and I was like, was he even here?
I think what happened is the football gods took over and they said, I'm gonna get you out of here. You did a good thing tonight. It's like, okay, thank you. And then the next thing I know, I'm at home. Like I think I've just vanished into my house. I felt like I was floating. I didn't. I was in a bit of disbelief, not at losing to Troy, but like, where are we as a football program right now? I know we're going through some turmoil, but we have good athletes, and this is bad. And then we hired Coach O the next year, keep it going, And I was for that. I wanted them to. Beyond the Troy game, LSU played two more games after that, and they kicked ass. And then they haven't looked back until last year. And then
no, they did. They went on a hell of a run after that Troy game, and
really did.
Won a lot of football games, and then you got the Joey Burrow run there that was epic.
Oh,
and,
man,
that was
best I've ever seen.
I mean, Coach O caught lightning in a bottle there. And,
yeah, he did.
But it was fun to watch, man. It was a blast, man. I mean, it's something. I mean, I'll never forget, and I'm sure it'll never happen again. But it was
not in Baton Rouge. It won't.
No. It was a hell of a ride, though.
I'll tell you, the 2019 run. Watching the Texas, it began at Texas. It started at your house.
Yes, it did, with the fan.
Whole other special moment in football lore. Absolutely. So, I mean, I just might as well mention this. It's not like it's that long. So in 2019, LSU's magical run, 15-0, and beat everybody on, I think it was the third game of the season, second or third. They play Texas. LSU versus Texas in Austin. Huge game, 100,000 plus. It was 100 plus degrees, hot. Wanted to go to that game. Tickets were pretty high, tough to get, hard to get a place to stay too, especially if you're going late. So I talked to Chad and we decided to go to the beach. That was a good weekend to go visit my friends and come to the beach, bring my kids and all, and of course, as been described, Chad knows the game day traditions. We watched many other games together beyond just that one Troy game, and many LSU games, and so he knew what was up. LSU Texas big game. I mean, we just did it right all day. You know, we went to the beach. It was way too hot. Swam, but kids had fun. We had a big time and cooked good food. A lot of Conecuh sausage. What else did we cook? It was all so. We ate a lot of good food.
Oh, we did. I mean, we slung all kind of stuff around.
We
on
ate
that
the
grill.
hell out of Conecuh sausage, and I eat it a lot now.
Man, Conecuh sausage is so it. So I stopped by. They have a Conecuh sausage store now in Evergreen, Alabama, on the interstate. Like,
Well, that's where it's made, isn't it?
It is. It's right next to the plant.
Is it
And they
cheaper?
have a retail store. It's just a retail store. Yes, you can get it in bulk, but they've got all kinds of stuff there. I even bought for Christmas. I stopped in there. I mean, yeah, it was Christmas. I bought a Thanksgiving. No, I bought a smoked turkey breast from there. But the other day I stopped in there, and what they've done, they've now created these Conecuh sausage packs that are just the links. So you don't even have the curves in there anymore.
What?
Oh, it's just a straight links.
It's a stick.
It's just a stick. I got 4 pounds of sticks. I cooked 3 of them today out by the pool. I went out there and set up my office out there and did some work and had the grill going. I ate 3 of those, lined them up, ate those bad boys, a little mustard on a bun. Oh my God, it's such goodness. It is so good. I grew up with that sausage and Kelly's sausage, which are very similar. And I didn't realize like how good a sausage we had. Like I'd try all these other sausages, and there's good sausage out there. Don't get me wrong, but that's just some money ass sausage. You know,
my neighborhood is a Conecuh believer now. I've taken Conecuh and taken it out of the casing. I think I told you about this. Take it out of the casing, mix it in with hamburger meat.
Oh,
call it an LA burger or Lower Alabama. They do that in Mobile.
They do that
at that Irish
pub.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Callahan's, I think it is. So anyhow, 2019, it's 2019 season, the run. Go to Chad's house, watching it. Had to be much like you that night in Tiger Stadium, going crazy, just pacing, wondering, just doing everything. And then it was hot. And then Chad pulls out this fan. This fan sounds like a damn airboat. I mean, it is as loud as a propeller on, or the prop on a freaking airboat. I mean, it is rolling. We put that thing on, all of a sudden LSU starts scoring.
Yes, they did.
Have it in a certain position. And basically, we put the chair in front of it, and you pretty much look like you were riding on an airboat. You've got his deck. There's lights all in the trees. Wind is just howling, and it's pitch black Florida night. Can't see anything except stars. And we're in an airboat. Watching just watching Coach O dominate and begin this run. And it's just a back and forth. And, of course, LSU gets a big 3rd and 17 late in the fourth quarter and converts. And Joe Burrow connects to Jamar Chase, and they end up they win the game. That's right. And but man, that was a fun night.
It was. And I pulled that fan out a few more times that year. You know, I was like, y'all got into a bind. I was like, do I need to pull the fan out? You're like, absolutely. Dude, sitting there by myself, I'd go set that fan up, set it in the chair, same position, same angle, and get that wind blowing through there. It's a floor drying fan. Somebody left it, and they came and redid some floors one time that I had, and they left it. And it creates a lot of wind. Yes, it
does. Absolutely. It's a spot wind. It's in a narrow way, which is, I'm sweating and nervous and pacing. It's 98 degrees at night. It was hot that weekend everywhere. And but man, yeah, that was a killer night. Killer night. Well, look, man, I think we should wrap it up there, man. I appreciate you being on once again.
Oh, absolutely. It's good. It's real good.